Elo. I don't know, subscribe for a friendly boop on the nose. What are we talking about today? uh, okay, this is legitimately the title I saw in English. How is this hot duke just a background character? um, yeah. It's fine. um, rating, um, 7. Alright, not bad. It is an isekai story because, yes, I always do isekais. This is the character that was isekai'd. As a matter of fact, in this one, it's a double whammy because 2 characters are isekai'd. This one is the main character, and there's also a secondary, well, the true female lead who is, also a reincarnator. The interesting one about this, the interesting idea that you see in this series is actually the lack of basic tropes, but it kind of just follows along without much of a problem, I guess, throughout the series. Like, this character gets reincarnated into this world. You'd think everything would go poorly, you know? She's just like a background character, no one cares about her, whatever. But, you know, she ends up getting with this other background character. She, you know, thinks that he's so cute, and then she helps him get healthy and everything because he's a little bit chubby at a young age. Then the bulk of the story is basically just these two being romantically, you know, attached at the hip. And as far as, like, conflict goes, I mean, there's very minimal conflict for the most part, and a lot of the stuff is just kind of negligible at best. This guy's good at, like, everything, so almost all conflict gets just negated within, like, a chapter or two. I mean, even, like, the most extreme of conflicts in which, you know, she's in a perilous situation at one point, like, she still gets out of it fine relatively fast, so it's just, like, no conflict, really, in this series. It's kind of just carrying on to the next thing. It has a couple of things, you know, going for it, I guess, like her carrying her along. Most people, she changes the story, which is kind of satisfying, seeing things actually change and make sense in how they change. a decent number of the characters that would typically not change at all because, oh my god, they're just stuck in their ways, actually, like, can better themselves as characters. One being, like, the villainess, for example, over here. She's the main character's sister, and she actually changes her personality rather than going for, like, the prince and things like that. She actually goes for her, like, true love and ends up being way better. And of course she's a little douchey at the start of the story, but she actually changes for the best. You know, which, you know, I have to respect. A lot of these stories would not do that. They would see a character like this, and then they would be stuck in their ways, and then get comeuppance for it. Now, they do have another character that kind of plays her role as the villain. So it's not like they necessarily negated things and did something super unique or whatever. They still kind of fall back on tropes, but at least on a surface level, like, inspection, they at least tried something a little new. I'll give them some respect for that. There's, you know, a little bit of props, right? Nothing crazy or whatever, but some props. This guy's lame. Super boring, doesn't do anything. Is basically just a plot device for the other characters. As far as these two go, I mean, it's enjoyable seeing their little bits of romance. But again, it's not going to, you know, do anything super groundbreaking or anything. I mean, really, the most groundbreaking thing is just having a pretty normal, like, love going on. Of course, like, there are other characters that try to butt into their love and things like that. We see, like, the Crown Prince and things like that, but it's relatively just fixated on these two, you know, being in love. which is it's kind of sweet. Seeing like, you know, actual, you know, built up love just progressing like it should. You don't really see that in a lot of these stories. They always have to throw wrenches and things like that, and like they get mind controlled or something and whatever, right? It's annoying. Sometimes you just want like a more typical plot. I will say there's one weird kind of divergence from this more streamlined story where it's like kind of trying to be normal in terms of how characters react. At one point, we see the female lead, and then there's, you know, of course, the male lead, right? And then there's this new villainess of sorts, because the previous one, of course, her sister is not around to be a villain anymore, so now we have this new villain. And she does something real bad to the main character. Now, I'm not going to get into any spoilers, but I don't think you need them for what I'm about to say. She does something really bad. Now, logically, because this is meant to be a bit more of a reasonable story, you would think, boom, just get rid of her, she's done. Like, you know, the main male lead goes after her or whatever. And like, yes, they do that to a certain degree. And I don't really want to get into super big spoilers, but I'm going to say this. I made a video about pet peeves, and one of them is quick forgiveness. The female lead is way too quick to forgive this character. Now, of course, she doesn't really get much from it. She still gets, you know, taken out of the picture, but just the fact that she even gave any sort of sympathy towards this character is ridiculous to me. If a character, like if anyone, let's say, you're in your normal life, and, you know, someone just comes out of nowhere and they try to kill you, or they try to get rid of you, that is virtually unforgivable. Now, I'm sure there are very, very, very select situations where maybe that could be forgiven, but they are few and far between, and this is not one of them. The fact that this character was forgiven by anybody is absolutely ridiculous. She did a ton of things with basically zero reason. She's basically unredeemable. She's just... It is an irredeemable character that is just ridiculous that they even try to make it seem like the main character had forgiveness for them. If anything, the main character like trying to show forgiveness is almost like insulting this character. Because, of course, if you're in the position of power, you can give that forgiveness. If you're not, then what the hell are you going to do? So it's just kind of like, ugh. I don't necessarily enjoy that. The other thing I kind of want to just touch on is like the whole prince idea. I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to prolong the story, you know? They just want things to keep going and going and going, so they need like another contender for the male lead. But you kind of like, you already know that it's just like not going to work with how the story is going. So it just feels awkward. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the whole like prince idea. I think it's just kind of boring. And that's like one of the more tropey things that they do. And I can't say I love it, you know, it's just kind of... it's unnecessary, and I would prefer if they just didn't have it. Alright. Let's end on a little bit of SAE. That would be story art enjoyment. Story-wise, you know, it's okay. I think there's some plot holes, things like that, but whatever. I'll give it like a 6. It's alright. Art-wise, I think a 7's pretty fair. Decent art. I like the designs. They're not bad or anything. Enjoyment, 7. Pretty fun for the most part. A little, you know, nitpicky things here and there, but overall quality I think was enjoyable enough. So I think overall, rating wise, like 7, pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a solid read. Not something I would go out of my way to or anything, but if I saw it, you know, if you're just looking around, you see it, and you're like, oh, what's that? It's a solid pickup. It's, you know, it's just, it's not doing anything groundbreaking, but it's fun, you know? Fun, basic schlock. The story's kind of like probably the weakest aspect. It's really just nothing special. The art's like pretty solid, and the, you know, enjoyment levels pretty good, not bad. So yeah, I don't know, 7, not bad. I'd appreciate if you could like, comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. Maybe leave another story you want me to read down below. Even if it's a story I read before, I'll read it again. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I'll see you.